Let's start off the bulletin with our top story this evening. It appears the two rival parties, thus the NPP and the NDC in the Western region, are bent on snitching against each other as two executives of the two parties have been arrested for allegedly registering minors in the Mpoho constituency. Well, GHOne TV's Mahamudu Ameya reports that the constituency treasurer of the NPP and the deputy secretary of the opposition NDC were both arrested for engaging in the act which is against electoral rules. Well, before we speak with my colleague Mahamudu Ameya over Zoom, I've been joined in studio by Edem Kojo, who has also been doing some digging into this particular incident. And he joins me now to share some details as per what exactly ensued here. Now, Edem, it's very good to have you in studio. From what we've gathered regarding this arrest of the MPP constituency treasurer in Mpoho, what more information do you have to share?
Okay, so Natalie, first of all, this is a very interesting situation, and as you rightly said, we decided to go digging because sometimes some of this information is not one that you get open in the public, and so we had to make some arrangements. In fact, it's a very high source placed person in even the Electoral Commission who is giving us this information. So the backstory is that this incident apparently happened on the first day of registration, which is on Tuesday, and it just came to the light today. And what actually happened was there was the MPP treasurer allegedly registered some number of alleged minors. And interestingly, what he does is that, or allegedly does, is that when he registers you, he keeps your card. He keeps the card. Right. So apparently one of the minors that was otherwise registered went home and more like made a narration to the parents that, okay, I've been registered, I have a voter ID card. And the question then is, my child is a minor, first of all. Where's your registration card? And my child is a minor, so what's the situation? Right. So what we are picking up is that it is the parents of the child that went to the man's place to more like approach him, to confront him, and find out why the child or a person below the age of 18 had been registered. It is in the course of the argument that the wards of the child, or the parents of the ward, then went to the police station to make a report. Right. So they go to the police station, a report is made to the police station. The police come back to the house to conduct a search, and then about 5 cards, which I'm sure we have seen on the screens, are basically retrieved. Right. So that is what's the whole backstory of this happening. That is not necessarily the EC that actually discovered it on the day of registration. Right. And it's not as though a report was made at the police station, because usually you when a minor or someone you think is a minor, you can challenge at the instance. This is a situation that actually occurred on Tuesday, and it's an afterthought. So it's about 3 days later that this has come up. Right. And then the second situation has happened in that because one person has been found out, it looks like the MPP guy is going around snitching his brother or his opponent from the NDC, allegedly that he also registered a minor.
But has that been confirmed as well?
So for that, the police have arrested both of them. And I believe Joseph Ameya will probably shed light on that. But because this is what we got from our source in there, that indeed, these are situations that have come up. It's not even one minor, there are multiple minors. However, the situation was not at the police station, but something that happened in the home of one of the ward, and then the cover was basically blown.
It's certainly a very interesting story, in fact. Now, we've been joined also by Mahamudu Ameya, who has been doing checks on this particular development. What more do you have to share? Mahamudu, you are currently on mute. Can you please unmute yourself and share with us what further details you have?
Okay, so today, as we reported earlier about the situation where both representatives from the two political parties had been picked up, the matter went to the Mpoho Police Command, and they did some further investigations. But the new update is that both representatives, the NPP the treasurer and NDC deputy secretary, have both been granted bail. They have both been granted bail by the police. That's then coming Thursday, they would appear before court. I think, as rightly Adam explained further, the NDC, when I spoke to some intel I picked on the ground, had earlier picked intel that the NPP man in question, usually buses students to the various registration centers. However, when he even gets to the registration center, although they may have the Ghana card, he allegedly keeps the Ghana card and further goes on to vouch for these individuals. And so people had already picked that intel that this time he was busted, that one of the children he sent to the registration center was a minor and was 7 months younger than the approved age of 18 years. And so as this matter had been picked up and the NDC, through the kid's parents had gotten this information, they decided to proceed to the EC to make their concerns known. And further, they also were busted, and that the NPP also took advantage of a situation where a school proprietor or a school caretaker had contacted the NDC deputy secretary to transport some students from the Voices of Christ preparatory school to the center, and they found out that also they allegedly found out that one of them is also a minor. Now the update is that both of these persons have been granted bail and they are going to appear before court come Thursday.
Very well. Thank you so much for the updates there. Kobna Amoa joining me on this issue. As he mentioned, they've both been granted bail and are to appear before court next week, Thursday. Now, meanwhile, in the central region, a fight which erupted between the two parties over the busing of voters to the registration centres led to a cutlass assault on the Cape Coast North Communications Director of the governing NPP, Justice Agyemang. Jan is our central regional correspondent, and he joins with more on this particular development. Good evening to you. Now, what exactly happened? Can you expand and clarify how exactly this incident took place? I hope you're hearing me. Now, we're working the phone lines to engage Yao Boajan there to give us some clarity as to how this happened and what exactly ensued there. We're reaching him via Zoom, but as you see on your screen, clearly there was some tensions being raised following this cutlass assault on the Cape Coast North Communications Director of the governing NPP. That's in the person of Justice Agyemang there, and you see the bruises on his head following this assault. Now, we understand that this shooting incident occurred earlier today, and clearly this issue does bring to the fore the such instances and the likelihood of such violent instances possibly occurring even in the upcoming elections later this year. Now, we've been joined by Yao Boajan. Now, Yao, I hope you're hearing me. Now, first of all, can you clarify what exactly happened and how this incident took place? We also understand that earlier today this incident occurred. Can you expand on how it happened and what ensued? We seem to be having a bit of trouble reaching Yao Boajan there via Zoom to expand on this issue which ensued earlier today. Now, we'll certainly be bringing you more on that as we work the Zoom lines to reach him, and as we also tackle the security implications of this acrimony, really, during this registration exercise. Yao, I hope you're hearing me now. Now, what exactly happened, and can you run us through how this ensued?
Yes, this happened as a result of NDC in the Cape Coast North, but people from Korea is under Abra Asif Kwamanta. So when these people which the Cape North services, the NPP were agitating people not from Cape South, so they are suspecting that pass different constituencies to assist them and pick up more this understanding. So, macho men were to be with the assist of respective clinics, and we will see pull up guns, which they find one church into the sky, and the also them they use this to start the education officer and the constituency. And this brought understanding between them. So it's the intervention of the Gaga, who actually with the catchers of members who pull up this data. Unfortunately, the police have not anybody. So, I mean, they are still in this matter.
Right. Now, Yao, thank you for running us through how exactly this incident occurred. Now, let's explore the security-related issues as a result of this. We've been joined via Zoom by security analyst Adib Sani, who joins us for a conversation on this. Adib, good evening to you. It's good to have you this evening. Now, you know of this occurrence which happened earlier today. What exactly do you make of it?
Well, it is an unfortunate development. We've received in the past a lot of assurances from the IGP that his outfit is very much prepared for the election. But obviously, there's a series of activities that happen before the main election. And one of it is the voter registration process, which is very much part and parcel of that election. I agree that you cannot ensure adequate security everywhere all the time. But I would have expected that the police would pick up intelligence on some of these incidents and perhaps do something about them before they happen in the first place. But I think there are some lessons to learn from this. And from my checks, a lot of it has to do with persons suspected to not hail from the area they are coming to register. And secondly, people perceived to be underage. But the question is, who determines who is not from that area? Perhaps the person hails from there but doesn't necessarily live there. On the other hand, who and how are you able to even tell that if a person is underage or not? So I think these are lessons we can learn and take corrective actions, and hopefully the same issues don't recur during the main election. But it's unfortunate that this is happening, and I'm hoping that we can learn some hard lessons.
Right, Adib. Now, you say it's unfortunate. Will you say somewhat that the lack of trust for the Electoral Commission, in the Electoral Commission, really, by the NDC, might be some source of a worry? And how do you think it should be dealt with moving forward?
Well, obviously, and this is something I've always talked about based on my experiences and the work I've done in other countries. What is currently happening in Ghana with respect to the trust in the electoral process is very similar to what happened pre-2010 elections in Ivory Coast and pre-2007 elections in Kenya, where there were deep suspicions about the activities of the Electoral Commission, which ultimately led to a lot of chaos with a lot of people dying as a result. That is why I've always spoken. The Electoral Commission, that is the most important institution so far as elections is concerned, needs to build trust. There's the need for consensus building. There's the need for stakeholder engagement, okay? Unfortunately, recent remarks, especially by the Electoral Commission, and of course, recent actions by the Electoral Commission and even proposals by the same outfit has raised certain deep suspicions within some political quarters. But going forward, I'm hoping that they are able to work collaboratively with the various political actors, so there's confidence in that process. Secondly, we seem to have issues with misinformation and disinformation, which I must say is going to be extremely paramount in this election that we are going into. Now, AI is being used to subvert the will of the people, and recently a group of scientists indicated that it is too late for us to do anything about AI's ability to interfere in the electoral process in the UK and even the US, how much less Ghana. So there's always a tendency that people would spread false information, and if care is not taken, others might rise up to the occasion, and that might, pose a problem. You are seated in your room, then you receive a call. We saw a bus bringing in some individuals from another place, when indeed perhaps it's not true. They are just commuters going to another community. Yet the bus will be stopped. Certainly. And the people might be subjected to all form of misstatements.
Very well. Adib Sani, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on this issue. A security analyst joining us there. Now, meanwhile, the National Democratic Congress has raised concerns about the presence of national security operatives at registration centers across the country. Engaging journalists during a tour of registration centers, National Vice Chairman of the NDC, Joshua Alabi, expressed fears that this presence could intimidate potential registrants and undermine the integrity of the voter registration process.
Unlike previous days, Day 4 of the ongoing limited voter registration exercise was relatively peaceful and smooth. Reverend Tizo Watson, Municipal Electoral Officer for the Ayawaso North Municipality, tells GHOne News that the registration exercise is now back to the online mode.
I can attest to you that right now we are having online registration and there's no technical hitch. The Commission is on top of issues, and we can confidently say that before the 21 days will end, we believe that the Commission, as has been recorded, that we have a number of people to register, they will by all means have the people registered to meet the number of days that the assignment is concerned.
At the Ayawaso West Wagon Registration Center, the situation was also calm as former Black Stars player Emmanuel Ajimambedu was spotted registering for his voter ID card.
This is the first time. I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate because of the work I do, because of my profession. I've never been able to register on every 7th of November when it's election time. Because of the profession, I don't get a chance to come home. Once now I am home, and the Constitution says that every citizen of the country, and if it's above 18, can vote. And right now that I'm here, I need to do the responsibility. So the responsibility is, they have opened the registration, and I'm here to register and to cast my vote, God willing, 7th of December.
Emmanuel Ajimambedu also debunked claims that former captain of the Black Stars, Stephen Appiah, will be contesting for the Ayawaso West Wagon parliamentary elections.
It's not true. It's not true. I spoke to him personally, and he said it's not true. Yeah.
Meanwhile, a national vice chairperson of the opposition NDC, Professor Joshua Alabi, who toured some registration centers, expressed worry at the increasing presence of national security operatives at the centers.
Oh, my concern, especially here, I hear they brought some pistols here by some individuals, and I think that the police will ensure that that is not used or to really suppress people from registering. That will not be used to disrupt the whole system. Because if the police refuses to manage that for us, then obviously our people who have pistols may also bring their pistols. And I don't think it will augur well for the good people of the constituency and Ghana.
The ongoing limited voters registration exercise aims to update the electoral roll ahead of the upcoming elections, providing eligible citizens with the opportunity who have never registered to exercise their democratic rights to vote.
So now it looks like the first 4 days of the limited voter registration exercise has been riddled with quite a number of challenges, severely slowing down the pace of the entire exercise. Tutu Adanso is here with some of the major issues that cropped up in the last few days. Since the very first day, really, there were from network challenges and other issues that were observed. What more do you have to share?
Well, Natalie, as you rightly did indicate, on the very first day of this electoral process or the registration process, the exercise, which was advertised to begin at 7 a.m. and end at 5 p.m., started at 12 and in some centers after 12 across the country as a result of technical issues and network disruptions. I don't know how this happened. I don't know if the EC didn't, foresee this coming. But anyway, that's what happened. And it greatly marred the process. On the same day, the very first day of this registration process also, there were issues with the registration slip. Now, what this means is that you, for instance, register in Ablekuma West, and your slip indicates that you're in Ablekuma Central. But the EC came out to say that, well, this doesn't really affect anything. You can still be allowed to vote. It doesn't constitute any illegality, but certainly people were uncomfortable with the development. Now, on day 2, the same network challenges persisted, which caused the online mode of registration to take a pause. Now, let's see what the EC did. So on day 3, they resorted to the offline mode, where, interestingly, in the Eastern region, we had reports where the offline mode had rather seen more registrants registering for that same day as compared to the usage of the online mode. Now, to the very first, or the 4th day, which happens to be today, we have had issues of allegations of busing people to register, busing minors especially. And as my colleague Edem Kojo was earlier in studio to explain, these persons were arrested in the Mpoho constituency because they were allegedly busing minors to the voting centers or the registration centers to register for their cars. And these cars, we are so far seeing just 5 of those on the screen. We can't tell how many more minors were registered on that same day. And also, in Cape Coast North, a deputy communications director of the NPP had his head slashed because the people there were not comfortable. They claimed that he was busing people to the registration centers to vote. They were busing minors. And so, Natalie, I mean, we have had issues from day 1 till day 4, but 2 issues have persisted.
Right.
That's with the network disruptions and the busing of people. And it will surprise you to note that the deputy, Akogan, who is with the NDC, was in studio on Tuesday, and he justified busing people. He didn't say it was a good thing entirely, but what he said was that busing people in the same constituency is not a problem as compared to busing people from maybe Ayawaso Central to Ayawaso North. So this is what we've been faced with during the 4 days of the elections. I don't know what you think about it, but I hope I get to have the final. So let me just know what you think about it briefly.
Right, certainly it's been very far, really, from the EC's desire to hold a smooth and efficient process. This is quite far from efficient, frankly speaking, demotivating quite a number of the minors who got a break from school, really, to register for this. So we'll see how developments take place in the next few days. It ends on Monday, is it? That's May 27.
Yeah, May 27.
So, absolutely. So we'll certainly be bringing our viewers more on that and developments that take place to our dance. So
and I just really hope that, we don't try to initiate these minors into some forms of illegalities because you're registering them when they're not even of age. We are still shouting about eradicating corruption in our systems. I just really hope that we don't initiate these young ones into these activities just yet, Natalie.
Certainly, to our very salient point there. We'll bring you more on it subsequently. And thank you really for running us through developments as per when this process began. You're watching News Tonight. Now let's turn away from issues on this and turn to some other news this evening. In politics, flag bearer of the governing NPP, Dr. Mahamudu Ameya, says his administration will focus on giving incentives to churches and not taxing them. Addressing clergymen in the Bono East region as part of his campaign tour, Dr. Ameya opined that considering the work that churches do, they should rather be paid and not be taxed.
Then the question is church and taxes. Are we going to tax churches? My view on this is simple. In fact, that's why I say that if you share a Juma church, in fact, we should rather be paying them rather than they paying us. Unless you don't understand the work the church has done. If you're looking at the buildings, the way they try to keep the society together, the universities, the hospitals, the schools, it's massive. It's just massive. Many churches have hundreds of schools. Massive. So I don't see, and I will not have a situation where we are taxing the churches. We rather want to give churches incentives to support what government is doing. I want us to be partners in the way that the development partners are with us. You are our domestic development partners, and we will give you incentives to do more.
Dr. Ameya there describing churches as our domestic development partners. Well, more on that subsequently. In other news this evening, African governments are being urged to strengthen legislative frameworks facilitating the creation and accessibility of beneficial ownership registers in accordance with international standards. They're also being urged to ensure mandatory disclosure of assets and liabilities by all public office holders and advocated for thorough lifestyle audits of these officials and their closely affiliated associates as measures to promote transparency and combat corruption effectively. This was contained in a communique issued after the 14th Commonwealth Regional Conference for Anti-Corruption Agencies in Africa held in Accra.
Commonwealth African government should consider legislative framework which put the burden of proof on the individuals with unexplained wealth. Member countries should scale up the use of technology to combat corruption. Commonwealth African government should commit adequate resources to anti-corruption agencies to ensure effectiveness and sustainability at fighting corruption. Anti-corruption agencies should collaborate with relevant local agencies and operate with key international partners in the fight against corruption.
We can redouble our efforts to strengthen anti-corruption frameworks, enhance cooperation and collaboration among agencies, and foster culture of accountability at all levels, and ensure that those who engage in corrupt practices are swiftly brought to justice. We represent a global community united against corruption. We recognize that this affects all of us, transcending borders and undermining trust, prosperity, and justice. Our shared commitment to combating corruption is a beacon of hope for a better future. We will foster collaboration and knowledge sharing, enhance our collective capacity to combat corruption. We also support innovation solutions and best practices. Together, we will drive progress, learn from each other's successes and challenges, and create a stronger, more resilient Commonwealth Africa network.
We've got lots more news coming up shortly here on News Tonight. Do stay. You're welcome back to News Tonight this evening. Let's turn to some health-related developments now, as a medical procurement company is raising an alarm over the distribution and sale of substandard rapid diagnostic test kits by some individuals to health facilities across the country. These kits, which include syphilis, HIV, malaria and typhoid rapid tests, are allegedly not approved by the Food and Drugs Authority, thereby delivering misleading results when used. This was revealed at a press briefing held in Tema earlier.
On Tuesday, the 7th of May 2024, the attention of management and the board of directors of Medtest Ghana Limited, herein after Medtest, was drawn to an incident or series of incidents suggesting that certain unknown and/or unscrupulous entities within Ghana have been supplying some selected Texas-based GHOne-branded rapid diagnostic tests to some renowned medical facilities in the country. The report indicated that most of the tests supplied to and used at some of the medical facilities by the said unauthorized vendors could not meet the expected performance standards, thereby misleading results. Any true branded RDT duly approved in Ghana by the Ghana FDA must be able to pass the performance test as they are highly accurate.
Well, quite a concerning development there. Joining us for more on this is the Corporate Affairs Manager for Medtest Ghana. That's GHOne Mensah, joining us via Zoom. Good evening to you. Thank you for joining us here on News Tonight. Now, how did you first find out about the existence of these subpar rapid diagnostic kits?
Okay, good evening, Natalie. So, can you hear me?
Very well. Please carry on.
Okay. So what happened is our sales team go out, and when they go out for some time now, for some weeks now, they started noticing that some suppliers and medical institutions who are using the diagnostic test kits, which is the RDTs, were complaining that the tests were giving false results. And so we started doing our own preliminary investigation, and we realized that we have not supplied these facilities, and so they might have been supplied by people who have not been authorized by FDA. So we started speaking with the FDA, and then we got to the realization that they are probably fake imports which have been done by infiltrators of the test kits.
Right. Now, following these investigations, as you said, you've engaged with the FDA on the issue. Aside telling you that they're probably fake, has there been any specific information coming in from the FDA as per how it's going to be dealt with?
Okay, so we noticed that they are fake. And so we have formally lodged complaints with the FDA, and they have started investigations. So they have not finished with the investigation, but investigation is still underway. And the copies of our letters have been sent to the CID also. So this is where we are.
Right. Now, do you possibly know if these hospitals were making use of these kits well aware of the fact that they were subpar?
They were not aware.
Right.
They were not aware. They only became aware when our sales team got to them, because for Medtest, we are the sole agent for the particular brand, which is GHOne. And because GHOne is quite a quality brand and worldly acclaimed, it is possible that people may also want to imitate a product which is of high quality for monetary gains. And so these hospitals were also trying to get the best, and they ended up getting it from people who are fake. And we only noticed when our team went out. And that is why we have considered it worth notifying the public of this health risk, because imagine that they are using fake test kits to test people and they get negative results for a disease which has to be positive. It means that at the end of the day, you'll be walking about thinking you are okay and not treating yourself. And months down the line, you would see that your condition has deteriorated, or you may even end up infecting other people. And that is why this is quite necessary for the public to know.
Right. Now, a very much needed investigation done there by your team. GHOne Mensah, thank you for joining us this evening. We'll certainly re-engage you in subsequent bulletins as the investigations continue. GHOne Mensah there from Medtest Ghana. You're watching News Tonight. We've got business news next. In business this evening, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, has bemoaned the exodus of foreign brands from the Ghanaian business climate, describing it as not exciting news. According to the association, the trajectory defeats competition and is a bane on government revenue mobilization. Though it admits that local players can take advantage of the situation and build capacity to expand and operate to fill such vacuums, it was quick to add that the consequences of such occurrences are far-reaching, since it comes with job losses and its attendant problems, thereby having some negative tendencies on the economy at large.
Our first reaction to such development, of course, will not be an exciting one, considering the fact that we put in a lot of effort for foreign direct investments to participate in our economy. And therefore, it's not exciting to see colleagues or business persons or enterprises folding off granted that is as a result of the internal activities or internal dynamics. I would say that we shouldn't be pretty surprised about events unfolding, considering that we are all aware that we are in a challenging period in our economy. And these events that are unfolding, once you're under IMF program, calls for a lot of austerity. And some enterprises and business persons might not be able to survive the austerity period, and such outcomes may be evident. Nonetheless, once you realize that the causation factors for such enterprises or other players in the space to react maybe negatively to
In some more top business news, the Postal and Courier Services Regulatory Commission is citing a contractual breach by Glovo for exiting the country without notifying them. According to the regulatory body, Glovo started operations in the year 2021 with a 5-year renewable license, and per the terms and conditions, any decision of cessation of operations ought to be officially communicated ahead of time. Courier services company Glovo will from today, May 10, 2024, stop operations in Ghana. But the Post and Courier Services Regulatory Commission says it will take legal action if the decision of the company is not officially communicated to them.
As a commission, we know Glovo because we have licensed Glovo to offer courier services in the country. And they joined the commission, I think in 2021, and the commission can say for sure that we are aware of their services and the good works they are giving to the people of Ghana. But when it comes to their cessation of their services in the country, officially Glovo hasn't communicated this to the commission. And that is actually a breach of the contract that they have signed with the commission. Glovo has to. The commission requires of all operators, Glovo inclusive, to formally inform us when they intend to, suspend operations, or in this instance, seize it, as you put it. Given that they haven't done that, the commission continues to see them as operators working in the sector. If Glovo doesn't come to do the needful, like you said, the act that establishes the commission empowers the commission to hold directors of Glovo, liable for any debt that they may owe the commission.
In other business news, Delta Paper Mills and Alpha Industries, producers of Flora tissue paper, Tango washing powder and Top Choco, have put some smiles on children of the Jolu Special School through the donation of some of their products to them. The donation, according to the company, is part of their corporate social responsibility.
It was all joy when brand ambassadors of Flora Tissues, Sewa Ameya and PSA Esther, took to the dance floor to sing some renditions from the gospel songstress. The excited children sang and danced with the two celebrities who were in their premises to present items such as tissues, washing powder, and chocolate spread produced by Delta Paper Mills and Alpha Industries. For Barbara Inkum, the marketing lead for Flora Tissues, the donation is just a part of their way of giving back to society. She revealed that this is the third time they are donating to the Jolu Special School.
Our kids in special schools, sometimes we tend to forget them because they don't mingle with society most of the time. And so those in special schools, sometimes they remain in school for very long times. And the teachers do well to take care of them, but these kids have special needs. So the least we can do as corporate Ghana is to come and visit them from time to time and to support them with what we produce. And also to come and spend time with them so that they know they are loved and they are special. And of course, Flora, we know we've been blessed. Because
touching on current harsh economic conditions in the country, Barbara Inkum appealed to the government government to introduce incentive packages to businesses like Delta Paper Mills. She disclosed that the company and other local ones can produce the required quantity to supply Ghanaians.
A lot of tissue is imported into the country. When you go to Bakola, you see a lot of brands that are imported. And these brands compete with the indigenous companies. So sometimes they are able to sell at cheaper cost. And we are not able to do that because we definitely have to do all our obligations.
Brand ambassador for Flora Tissues, Sewa Ameya, on her part, appealed to corporate organizations and individuals to reach out to special schools to support the upkeep of the children.
It's an honor, really, to be doing this because these are intellectually disabled children, but they're just like you and I, you know. So I'm happy that Flora has decided to do this, and they asked me to come and help them distribute these things to the children. And I want to use this opportunity to appeal to everyone who is watching to come and assist if you can, because as you can see, they need more help, and no amount is too small.
Frederick Tete is the director of the GHOne Special School, and he is grateful for the gesture from Delta Paper Mills and Alpha Industries.
Very welcoming news to us as an institution, because I've been telling the government alone can't reach all. So when we get support from organizations, churches, and individuals, it helps us take very good care of the kids. I always want to use this medium to appeal to all organizations, philanthropists, not only GHOne Special, so they can go to all the needy institutions to support them. And by so doing, the good Lord will bless them.
Now in sports this evening, 4 of Ghana's most renowned boxing promotion syndicates, Box Office Sports Promotions, ACE Power Promotions, Twin Stars Boxing Promotions, and Aborigines Boxing Promotions have joined forces for an unprecedented event set to take place in June this year. Dubbed the Fist of Carnage, this collaboration marks a monumental occasion that is poised to captivate audiences not only in Accra, but also across the country, the continent, and beyond.
Scheduled for Saturday, June 15, 2024, the Bukom Boxing Arena in Accra will be transformed into a spectacle of boxing excellence, serving as the epicenter of this historic partnership. Fists of Carnage represents a groundbreaking collaboration symbolizing unity and shared commitment to delivering world-class boxing entertainment to fans worldwide. The event promises an electrifying night of athleticism and fierce competition, showcasing the finest talent from Ghana and beyond. Featuring an unforgettable lineup of top fighters and rising stars from each of the participating promotions, the official fight card will deliver thrilling matchups and championship battles, guaranteeing non-stop action and adrenaline-pumping moments. The Fists of Carnage not only promises an unforgettable night of boxing, but also underscores the significance of partnership in revitalizing Ghana's boxing scene and paving the way for future success.
More on that subsequently. We've got entertainment news next. Rising rap star from the northern regional capital, Tamale, David AJ, has dared other acts who want to beef him to attack him directly on a beat, and he will reply accordingly. Reacting to recent discussions of a possible beef between him and another musician in Tamale, David told GH Today host Lantam Papanko that his colleague has not been brave enough to address him directly on a beat. According to him, once he is addressed on a beat, he will respond.
To me, if you really want to beef me, I'm a rapper, so you put it on a beat. Put it on a beat. Let me. I'm a knockout artist. If you diss me through your music, I will come at you once through music. Yeah, I will just come at you once. I will drop a song to to counter attack you, and is going to be a knockout.
So are you ready to respond to Scanty?
Scanty, we are not beefing actually. We are not beefing.
So what's happening?
He's just a confident person. Like, he's very confident. He's just a confident person who is doing his thing, and he tries to play around with emotions and ride with some things to get to where he wants to.
I see.
Not even Scanty. If you diss me directly, don't be a coward. Just go hard on me and wait for my reply. And my reply is going to be a knockout.
Well, away from entertainment, let's turn to some more local stories this evening. Residents of Abua, a community in the eastern region, have received 2 boreholes from Women of Imperium, a female-centered non-governmental organization. The support comes at a time many girls in the community skip school to go to search for water from their homes. Selassie Podo has more.
This is Agavenya, a rural community in the eastern region. Residents here have struggled to survive in terms of getting clean potable water to drink and other household activities. Girls in this community often skip classes just to get water from a source which is distant from the community, and this gets worse when they are in their menstrual period.
It's usually alarming. Sometimes when they need water, they have to stop whatever they are doing in the classroom, come out and pump it before they will be able to use it. So coming with this means a lot to us.
Residents here have to walk to a borehole in Abua, which is several miles away from the community, to get potable water. But that stress of getting potable water is now over, as a group known as the Women of Imperium have drilled 2 boreholes for the community. The 2 boreholes are sited in the community and in the Agavenya RC Basic School.
I'm so grateful for this project. We would love to thank them so much for what they've done for us.
It's just a dream come true. All along we've been looking for a way to reach out to people to come and help the school, and then we were here and boom, it happened like that. So we are really, really grateful.
Leslie Edu Mensah, who is the project consultant for Women of Imperium, explains why they chose the community.
The eastern region of Ghana is one of the locations that has there's a high prevalence of teenage pregnancy, and so we identified the Agavenya community as one of the targeted communities to be able to come and support them. Our target was the girls who are of menstruation period, and this community had that number of girls that we were looking for.
She, however, appealed to other organizations to support the group in providing such support for various communities. She called on non-governmental organizations to pool their resources together in order to reach a wider audience.
It's always a challenge when you're working with women. That has been the notion, but We Africa Foundation is trying to let society know that it is possible. So if you're out there, you're an NGO, you have a foundation and you're started, or you're already in existence and you think that you believe in this vision to come together and work together, our network is more than open, and we are encouraging you to reach out to us and join us.
As part of the support for the community, the NGO also engaged residents on issues such as menstrual hygiene and adolescent reproductive health. Women of Imperium is a female-centered non-governmental organization which focuses on bringing together women from various backgrounds to help develop communities.
Certainly a great initiative there. And that's how we draw the curtains on News Tonight this evening.